The South China Sea is a crucial maritime highway connecting East Asia to the world. About one-third of global shipping passes through these waters each year, carrying oil, raw materials, and finished goods. Any disruption here can ripple across the global economy, raising prices worldwide. Beneath the waves lie vast reserves of oil, gas, and some of the world's richest fishing grounds, resources vital to millions in Southeast Asia. Control over these waters is about more than pride. It's about food security and economic survival. The region's strategic value and natural wealth have made it a hotspot for competition. China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, Indonesia, and the Philippines all have overlapping claims, especially over the Spratly and Paracel Islands. These disputes have turned the sea into a complex geopolitical puzzle. Major powers like the United States are also invested, determined to keep shipping lanes open and support allies. Local disputes can quickly draw in global players, making the South China Sea a potential flashpoint. What happens here affects not just the region, but the entire world. The South China Sea is a stage where regional ambitions and global interests collide. It's a place where the stakes are high and the world is watching. China claims nearly the entire South China Sea, marked by its sweeping 9-dash line. This claim overlaps with the exclusive economic zones, EEZs, of smaller neighbors like the Philippines. Filipino fishermen who have worked these waters for generations now face growing challenges from Chinese vessels. Incidents at places like Scarborough Shoal have made fishing dangerous and unpredictable. The Philippines, with limited military power, long relied on diplomatic protests, often with little effect. Frustration grew as China's activities continued, despite repeated objections. In 2016, the Philippines won a landmark legal victory at The Hague, invalidating China's 9-dash line and affirming Philippine rights. China rejected the ruling and little changed at sea. The legal win was significant, but the practical challenge remained. The Philippines was left with international support, but still faced daily pressure on the water. The dispute became a test of law versus power. The question, how to turn legal rights into real-world results. The Philippines has shifted from quiet diplomacy to a bold new strategy: assertive transparency. Instead of matching China ship for ship, it's fighting in the court of public opinion. The government now documents every incident, photos, videos, detailed logs, and shares them with the world. The Coast Guard and Bureau of Fisheries have become frontline reporters, not just patrols. Incidents are no longer hidden, they're broadcast for all to see. This approach avoids military escalation but exposes coercion in real time. By shining a spotlight on violations, the Philippines builds international support and imposes reputational costs on China. The 2016 Arbitral Award is now a living tool, not just a legal document. The strategy is simple: make the invisible visible, and force the world to pay attention. It's a quiet revolution, changing the game without firing a shot. The Philippines is rewriting the rules of engagement in the South China Sea. The new strategy is most visible when Chinese Coast Guard ships use water cannons against Philippine vessels. Now, every incident is filmed from multiple angles, by the Coast Guard and embedded journalists. These images are released instantly, making headlines worldwide. The world sees the reality: smaller Philippine boats under attack, not just diplomatic statements. When a Chinese ship used a military-grade laser to blind a Philippine crew, the evidence was shared immediately, sparking global outrage. Journalists on patrols add credibility, turning each mission into a fact-finding broadcast. The Philippines also publicizes its own peaceful activities, helping fishermen, conducting research, maintaining presence. This normalizes its rights and draws a clear contrast with China's actions. The steady stream of information builds a consistent narrative: the Philippines as a peaceful defender, China as the aggressor. Every patrol becomes a message to the world. The strategy is working, turning local incidents into international issues. The Philippines is no longer silent, it's setting the agenda. The world is watching, and that changes everything. The Philippines' approach has transformed from quiet accommodation to assertive transparency. Previous administrations downplayed incidents, hoping to protect economic ties and avoid confrontation. The 2016 arbitral ruling was often shelved, and China's presence grew with little public pushback. Today, the Coast Guard is a key foreign policy tool, armed with cameras, not just ships. Every violation is documented and publicized, building a global case against coercion. The strategy leverages democracy and a free press, making it hard for China to deny its actions. The arbitral ruling is now front and center, cited in every statement. The shift is dramatic, from muted protests to loud public assertion of rights. The Philippines is no longer hoping for quiet solutions, it's demanding accountability in the open. This is one of the region's most significant foreign policy shifts in years. The South China Sea conflict is fought in the gray zone, actions short of war, but still aggressive. China uses Coast Guard and maritime militia, blurring the line between civilian and military. The Philippines counters with asymmetric tactics. Information is its weapon. By documenting and publicizing every incident, shouldering, water cannons, swarming, the ambiguity is stripped away. Speed is crucial. The first narrative often sticks. The Coast Guard releases videos and statements within hours, shaping global perception. Every patrol is a potential media event, keeping pressure on China. Government agencies coordinate to amplify the message. Foreign affairs, defense, communications all work together. Diplomatic statements and joint exercises follow each incident, showing unity and resolve. The strategy is clear: expose, respond, and rally support. The Philippines is fighting back in the gray zone, on its own terms. The result: a unified, determined stand for sovereign rights. The Philippines' assertive strategy has sent ripples across Southeast Asia. ASEAN's response is mixed. Some, like Vietnam, are emboldened. Others, wary of China, remain cautious. The approach exposes divisions within ASEAN, but forces the issue onto the regional agenda. Beyond the region, international partners have rallied behind the Philippines. The US, Australia, Japan, and Europe have issued strong statements and increased cooperation. Joint naval and Coast Guard exercises are now more frequent, signaling solidarity. The US has reaffirmed its defense commitments, including to Philippine vessels in the South China Sea. The Philippines has turned a bilateral dispute into a multilateral concern. The Transparency Campaign gives allies clear evidence to support, the result: growing international pressure on China. The Philippines' strategy is reshaping the regional balance. The future of the South China Sea remains uncertain. The battle of narratives will intensify, with both sides racing to shape global opinion. The Philippines must maintain credibility. Accuracy and transparency are key. There's a risk of escalation. China could respond more forcefully, raising tensions. Manila must balance assertiveness with caution, avoiding steps that could trigger conflict. International support, especially from the US, provides some deterrence, but the situation is volatile. On the positive side, the Philippines' strategy could reinforce international law and pressure all parties toward dialogue. Other claimant states may adopt similar tactics, creating a united front for rules-based order. The disputes won't be solved overnight, but transparency could make the region more stable. The choices of all countries involved will shape the outcome. The Philippines has shown that even smaller nations can make a difference. The silent revolution is just beginning. The story is far from over. The South China Sea remains a vital, contested waterway. For years, the Philippines relied on quiet diplomacy with little to show for it. The 2016 arbitral ruling was a legal win, but not a practical solution. Now the Philippines has launched a silent revolution, using transparency as its main weapon. By documenting and publicizing every incident, it's fighting back in the information space. This strategy has won international support and strengthened alliances. Most importantly, it has empowered the Philippines to assert its rights with confidence. The country is now a proactive defender of the rules-based order. The silent revolution proves that even smaller nations can stand up to bigger powers. The story of the South China Sea is being rewritten, and the world is watching.